Hello, today I'll be showing you how I created this fun holiday card using the Candy Stripe stencil along with the Berry Christmas and Deck the Hall stamp sets. So jumping right in, I started with the background, and using this stencil I sprayed a little pixie spray on the back so that my cardstock wouldn't slip around when I'm ink blending. And then I used a couple of different shades of red. Here I'm using some Catherine Pooler inks, but you can use whatever inks you have on hand or like to use. And I am doing a darker shade of red first, and then I'll do a lighter shade of red when I rotate the stencil to create the plaid. And you know, you can see some areas are a little darker than others. That really doesn't matter if you're more heavy-handed in some areas, because when the plaid is all complete, you really won't be able to tell at all. So, and again, you can use whatever inks you want. And applicator, here I'm using a foam applicator, but you can use a sponge or brushes, whatever you want. And then I cleaned off my stencil and my glass mat, and I rotate the stencil one time to create a cross pattern to get the plaid look. And then I didn't have to apply any more pixie spray because it lasts a few times. And then a lighter shade of red to create a monochromatic look. And you can use whatever color combinations you want. You can use two different colors, or you know, the same tone, different shades. If you choose to use two different colors, just make sure they're complementary colors so that you don't create a mud when you rotate your stamp and have the colors overlapping. So I'll just kind of ink blend here. I like the monochromatic look with this stamp set, because with this card, because I'm just kind of going for, you know, just the classic red and greens. Traditional Christmas here. And then in a second you'll see the reveal where it creates the cool plaid look. Alright, and I'll remove the stencil, and voila, really cool. And then I stamp out my bear and a couple of gifts onto just regular white cardstock in black ink. And I think I need to rejuice my ink because it's not, I had to stamp it out a few times, so I think my ink is not as juicy as it used to be. And then I do a couple extra gifts so that I can add more onto the card if I need it. I think I'll probably end up using 3 here. And then also the foliage from the Deck the Halls. I just stamped that one time, and I color them up off camera I use Prismacolor colored pencils. That's my color medium of choice, but you can use whatever one you want. You can use alcohol inks, whatever you like. I use colored pencils because I find I just have more control. Now I fussy cut the bear out because I don't have the coordinating dies. There are coordinating dies for this set, I just don't have them. So I fussy cut them, and then when you do fussy cut around that black, it leaves a white edge of the cardstock. And on my cards I like to have that black edge, you know, the white part where I cut it not showing. So I like to have it uniform. And what I do to create that more polished finished look is run a black marker right along the edge that I cut. So the sides of those die cuts, I just run a Tombow black ink over it. And then I had die cut the foliage from the Deck the Hall. So here I am looking at the placement, how I'll do that. And I also die cut down my plaid panel using a rectangle stitch die from my stash. And then once I have the basic outline for my card, I am going to bump up my foliage to create some dimension using it's a thin double-sided foam tape that I adhere down towards the bottom because I'll need to tuck in my bear and the gifts behind it. So just that strip along the bottom. And then I take off the release paper and use the bear as a kind of positioning tool so that I don't have the foliage covering up too much of my bear. And then I adhere that onto the very bottom of that plaid panel. And then there is some overhang of the foliage, so I just trim that off using scissors. And then I use liquid glue to adhere my bear on. And I'll get him in there. And then, as you can see, I have my gifts, and like I said, I think I just used 3 because, you know, a group of 3 is more pleasing to the eye. And then I adhere those in behind the foliage as well. And then after that, I choose a sentiment from the stamp set, the Berry Christmas stamp set, and I think it's sending you warm and cozy hugs. That's it. And I adhere that right onto the plaid panel using black ink. And whenever I do sentiments, I don't push too hard on my MISTI because I don't want to squish the stamp down onto the base, because I find that creates like more of a squished look. The words and the letters become squished. So then I just adhere, so I kind of like layer up the black, so to speak. I stamp it out a few times and gently push it down until I have it dark like I want, and adhere it to a black or a white top folding card base, and there we have it. Thanks for visiting. Don't forget to like and subscribe.